Allow us to put an end to your curiosity if you're still wondering if the concept of predator genetic material stringing out human life is something new. Well, of course, this is old news, and even more so, given that we're actually debating about it in 2025. Is it safe to argue that humans have advanced to the point where they can successfully use predator physiology to cheat death? Let's take a look at the 4-issue limited comic book series Aliens vs. Predator: Eternal as an example to further clarify the situation. Published by Dark Horse Comics, Eternal is written by Ian Edginton and has Alex Milev as the artist. But before we get into our explanation, we do have one very small request. If you enjoy our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Now let's begin. Aliens vs. Predator: Eternal Explored. The events of Eternal revolve around our main character, Gideon Sun Lee, with the storyline moving back and forth around Gideon's past and present life. Our focus will be on Gideon, a billionaire who has discovered the secret to eternal life by consuming predator flesh, and this has allowed him to live for centuries, accumulating immense wealth and power. The first issue opens at an unspecified timeline, and we find a man in tattered clothes and mortally wounded, judging by his looks. His name is Lee Yat-sen, and we soon discover that he is a liar, thief, and a murderer. But somehow, the stress seems to be on the latter part of him being a murderer. Apparently, he has been under the guise of a wandering sage and has been offering for sale elixirs and unctions to dim-witted mountain villagers. His latest offering, one that was a mix of snake blood, ginseng, and urine, ended up claiming the lives of 17 villagers. This naturally had the remaining villagers inflamed with rage, and they beat the shit out of him. It becomes all the more clear that he has managed to escape from there by heading towards the mountainside. As Lee is apathetically seen praying to God for deliverance through his blood-stained teeth, he witnesses a burning predator ship crashing through the sky. Of course, Lee was not the only one witnessing this mysterious phenomenon. The villagers did too, while cowering in terror. However, unlike the villagers, Lee did not feel scared. His agile mind made him see the whole thing as an opportunity. To him, it almost felt like his prayers were being answered. Lee decides to follow his destiny, and upon reaching the crashing area, he discovers the alien ship, the sight of which triggers a memory of a cautionary tale told to him when he was young. Something about death and dragons and men who walk like gods. Cut to the present. We meet the exceedingly influential techno-baron Gideon Sun Lee, who happens to be the head of a high-octane Japanese corporation. The mysterious Gideon is seen giving a final order to a unit to test the potency of his new equipment. While we don't know what's about to happen, there is certainly a shift in the mood for an impending danger to take place. The next scene introduces the readers to the talented reporter Rebecca McBride for the Independent News Network, currently on a field assignment with her cameraman Earl. She is seen exclusively reporting on a political uprising in the former French colony of Gamibia, currently being addressed as the slaughterhouse of West Africa, when a sudden unanticipated gunshot from an unseen attacker transforms a probable truce meeting into a burial ground. Earl urges her to leave, but the thing with Rebecca is that the woman just does not know when to quit, which, to be honest, can have fatal consequences. It's safe to say that she turns out to be the lone survivor and happens to lay her hands on some kind of a spear tip from the massacre ground. Now, what can one make out of a spear tip that weighs almost nothing? If you ask us, it does point one straight towards the direction of the predators. But here's where the twist comes. The attackers are not our usual human hunters. They are humans clothed in predator technology, which includes their helmets, cloaking devices, and even their shoulder cannons. Wondering who these men work for? Well, we're pretty sure that we did mention a certain Gideon Sun Lee before. 3 months have passed by. Gideon is seen conversing with Major Cabot about the events in Gamibia, and we realize that Cabot was employed by Gideon to test the very efficacy of the equipment in that area. Gideon asks Cabot to walk with him and take him inside a locked vault filled with technology, gears, and body parts of the predators. Gideon informs a highly shocked Cabot that he has employed several men before him to hunt down predators on his behalf, and that he has known of the hunters' existence for a very long time now. As he begins to tell Cabot the ancient tale of the noble samurai Subutai and how he devoured the heart of a predator after winning the battle against the creature, Gideon reveals to Cabot that Subutai was more than 200 years old when he passed away, clearly hinting that the heart of the Predator had great healing properties. It doesn't take Cabot much time to realize that Gideon is way above mere trophies, war, power, and even politics for that matter, to which the latter discloses to him his deepest secret, the solitary fact that he has been 38 years old for the last 700 years, and that he has every intention of staying 38 for years to come. It becomes crystal clear that the man whom we saw at the beginning of the issue happens to be the very billionaire technology tycoon Gideon Sun Lee, having successfully been able to save his life and build a mega corporate empire of unrivaled wealth with just a mere fraction of the commodities exploited from the salvaged Predator ship. Moving on with the storyline, Gideon is seen giving Cabot a personal tour inside the Predator spacecraft, which at the moment is packed with a horde of scientists. One of the scientists informs Gideon that they have finally managed to crack the ship's computer locking sequence on the cargo pod and have discovered some kind of organic sacs inside the pod. Gideon takes a good look at them and asserts that they are eggs. Believing that the eggs have a high chance of containing young predators, he orders the scientists to enter the cargo hold, further excited that there won't be any need for him to employ more men like Cabot and hunt down predators and make use of their bodies to extend his life unnaturally. But what Gideon fails to realize is that the sacs were xenomorph XX-121 eggs, which waste no time impregnating the scientists who had already entered the pod. Gideon locks the cargo hold with the impregnated scientists inside and calls for a biohazard team to secure the specimens, blissfully oblivious to the horror that his actions may have caused. As for the hatching of the eggs, they in turn cause the Predator security system to activate and alert a nearby Predator ship. The aftermath of Gamibia. The second issue begins with Rebecca, who is seen recalling the ghastly incidents of Gamibia. Earl was wiped out along with his camera, tapes, and all the other evidence. We learn that it was a UN swoop team that had pulled her out of the massacre ground later, and that's how she returned to London, only to have her career and reputation destroyed in the aftermath. But Rebecca is certainly not the one to give up things so easily, and let us not forget that she still has the spear tip in her possession. When Rebecca gives it to one of her contacts to dig deeper into things, she learns that the spear tip's source metal has been altered at a molecular level and that the blade is lighter and harder than anything one has ever seen. To her shock, she further learns that the spear tip happens to be partial pirate specs for new military technology, which belongs to the megatech tycoon Gideon Sun Lee. The next descriptive panel takes us back to Gideon, who is seen holding a disposable computer in his hand that is actually the size of a paper, one that he is later seen simply crushing and tossing away. As Gideon looks at his hands, he realizes that his physical immortality is once again at risk. The readers learn that Gideon's secret is not to fight against death, but to bend and adapt to death. At this moment, Gideon is called by one of his scientists immediately to the lab, where he's also joined by Cabot. Upon witnessing the infected scientists giving birth through their chests, Lee realizes that the newly born alien creatures bear no resemblance with the predators, and that they are now dealing with something entirely new. All of a sudden, the investigative predators, who were signaled when the eggs hatched earlier, make their presence known in the lab, causing the death of many armed men. Gideon figures out that the predators are after the xenomorphs, who, amid the chaos, are able to escape into the very sewers of Tokyo. After the predators leave from the laboratory, Gideon stresses on the fact that he's currently living on borrowed time and orders Cabot to hunt, kill, and bring down the predators for him. Rebecca, on the other hand, is seen arriving in Tokyo. Following a trail of clues, she's here to learn more about Gideon and also has an informant to meet by the name of Lazarus, apparently an otaku friend of one of her contacts. While she has not met Lazarus before, she sure seems to be quite optimistic. Issue 2 ends with the xenomorphs inside some dark, nasty sewer, busy growing both in number as well as size and establishing a hive. Tying up loose ends. The third issue begins on a rather predictable note. The xenomorphs have literally made the sewers their feeding grounds, busy abducting ill-fated, ignorant citizens and making a great meal out of them. While the predators are seen hunting down the galaxy's deadliest killing machines, Gideon has Cabot tasked with securing the corpses of the predators. Indeed, it is a survival of the fittest here. Luckily for Gideon, his success with reverse engineering the Predator technology has given him advanced gadgets and gears at his disposal. Now, it so happened that a particular unproductive attempt by the Predators to enter the alien hive led to the death of one of the Predators, as it unknowingly surfaced from the sewer and got hit straight by a speeding truck. Of course, Cabot and his men were able to lay their hands on the corpse, which in turn provided the critically endangered Gideon with yet another new lease on life. Coming back to Rebecca, her interaction with Lazarus has only been via computer, so it was quite a surprise when Lazarus offered to meet her. As for Gideon, he is seen sending Cabot after Rebecca, and it's clear he has some unfinished business with the reporter. Cabot is able to locate Rebecca, who, upon seeing him, identifies him as one of the men in Gamibia. But before she can react, Cabot drugs her, rather discreetly may we add, and brings her to Gideon, who introduces himself to Rebecca as her informant, Lazarus. Humans versus Predators versus Aliens. The fourth issue picks up right where the third issue left off. Much to the surprise and shock of Rebecca, Gideon offers her his entire life story. He is 700 years old, has a penchant for hunting aliens and making use of their internal organs to keep him immortal. Gideon confides that he had left behind the spear tip for her, and now he wants her to write his biography. To make things further interesting, Gideon also offers Rebecca the chance to join him in a hunt to secure more Predators, dead or alive. The hunting party comprises of Gideon, Cabot, and Rebecca, along with a unit of mercenaries, and they're seen heading into the subway to lay their trap for the Predators. Of course, things do not go as planned, and they walk right into the trap that the Predators had laid for the aliens. This has the Predators targeting the humans instead, which leads to the death of all but Rebecca and Gideon. Gideon eventually finds himself facing a Predator, whom he challenges to a fight, disarming himself with everything else but a blade. The Predator does the same and engages in a fight with Gideon, who tricks the creature by activating a plasma cannon that he has hidden in his armor. Gideon's apparent victory is cut short when he's taken by surprise by another Predator that he did not see coming. With the Predator lifting him up in the air, Gideon gives in and asks the Predator what it is waiting for. The Predator cruelly tears apart Gideon's technologically augmented heart and kills him, after which his head is seen taken as a trophy by the Predator, but it quickly turns into dust. Even the borrowed time is up for Gideon. As for Rebecca, she gets ambushed by a xenomorph but eventually manages to overpower the alien using Cabot's gun. A week later, something or someone carried Rebecca up to street level and got her admitted to a hospital. An agent from Unit K regularly paid her a visit to get information out of her, but she didn't divulge any. As for Gideon's private assets, they were seized by the Japanese government. They even denied the existence of the crashed Predator spacecraft that was inside Gideon's corporate headquarters in Tokyo. Rebecca came back to London a millionaire thanks to Gideon's posthumous payment for his biography. Marvelous verdict. Well, that's all for today, and with this, we finally come to the end of our video here. We'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then please do leave a thumbs up. Also, stay tuned with us as we promise to come back with more exciting content. Till then, goodbye, and thanks for watching. Have a nice one.